Hello, everyone. Welcome to Two Broke Sophomores. We have a great show to you today. Welcome back. My name is Andrew Cohen. I am the co-host of Two Broke Sophomores, along with George Long, who cannot be with us today. Unfortunately, he's probably busy packing. We're both going on our winter vacations. Yeah, we're back. We haven't been there for a while. But it's taken us a while to get an interview, and we had this one scheduled. And I'm taking my stuff back with me back home, so we're going to try to get some more interviews out there for you. We don't know when the next one's going to be. Hopefully, we can get it next week. We don't know. I'll have to see. Depends on a lot. But we do, want to keep this podcast primarily about interviewing teenagers and young people doing great things with your lives. That's what we love doing. That's what, this podcast is all about. So we wouldn't want to show you something different and sort of take that away from the listeners. So without further ado, let's get into today's guest. Today we have the amazing and brilliant Ava Kolker on the show. Ava is a great actress. She is known for her role as in Sydney and the Max, which is currently premiered its second season yesterday. Yesterday was Friday. We recorded this on Monday, but yesterday was the season premiere of season 2 of Sydney to the Max. She's also known for a role in the Insidious movie. It's the last one, the Last Key, as young Elise Rayner. She's known for her role in Girl Meets World as Ava Morgenstern, and she's just really great, and she's very talented. She's very funny. She was amazing to talk to. We really hope that you enjoy our conversation with Ava Kolker. And it was her birthday. So, wish her a happy birthday on Snapchat. Not Snapchat. We don't have her Snapchat. Twitter, Instagram. She's moving to good things. And we were really happy to talk to her. As always, make sure to follow us on Twitter, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. Yes, we said it, YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We're on there now. So, sorry about my voice. I'm a little sick, but it happens. Enjoy. Never mind. Enjoy our conversation with Ava Kolker. Enjoy. Hello, Ava. Welcome to Two Broke Sophomores.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's we're so happy to have you here. So we've been watching your show, Sydney to the Max.
Yep.
It's
Yes.
really good.
Thank you so much.
It kind of reminded me of This Is Us a bit.
Yes, I have definitely seen that resemblance before with the flashbacks and how everything kind of relates. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, sort of, the mother, the father, daughter dynamic, and how it sort of, you kind of see the direct relation from, like, okay, the father experienced this, and then the daughter experienced this in like a 2019 13-year-old version.
Yeah, it's really interesting how it does that.
So, how did this come about? This role come about?
Well, I believe a year ago I got the audition, And I've been going out for a lot of Disney roles since I was on Disney previously on Girl Meets World. So it was a long process. I went to the audition and then the callback and then the producers and then the testing. So it was kind of it was like incredible though. My confidence was built. I was like, oh my gosh, I so got this role. I am so Olive, and I felt it inside of me. I was so positive, and I've never really felt this way about a role before. And then I got it in February of last year. We started filming the pilot in March, and then we started filming season 1 in August of last year. So yeah, it's kind of just been go, go, go since then.
Why was it this role specifically that you were like, yes, I'm Olive, yes, I can do this? Like, what was it sort of about the role that sort of really brought you to that, like, real confidence?
At first, I didn't really have that much confidence, mainly because of my height. And I know it's very odd, but I've always been really, really short. And when I got the audition, I was playing 2 years older than me. So I was like, there's no chance. And then my mom and I, we run lines together a lot before auditions and filming and everything. She helps me a lot and it helps me make it funnier. And I was doing it with her and she was like, wow, you're nailing it. I don't even have any advice for you. So I was like, yay, I'm totally getting the hang of this character. And then I went in and I came out and I was just ecstatic. Olive and I, we just clicked. Like, it was just easy for me.
And I'm guessing yeah.
Yeah, and then when I went in, they were cracking up, and then I lit up inside.
That's amazing. Do you get like a lot of advice from your mother when you're, going on these auditions and?
Yes, definitely. My mom and my dad always help me. That is where I usually work with them. They're like my acting coaches. They're the best. And yeah, before every audition, I rehearse my lines with my mom. We try to make them better, and then with my dad too, depending on who's taking me. And yeah, they're the best. I owe it all to them.
That's great that they're so supportive there.
Who do you like going?
For sure.
Yeah. Who do you like going with more to auditions?
I don't really have a preference, honestly. I love going with them both.
You don't?
I mean, I've been doing it for so long.
That's amazing. So when you're on set and acting as Olive, and it seems like there's like a real friendship between you and the actress who plays Sydney. It seems like a real chemistry. I mean, are you guys friends, offset and, yeah.
Yeah, we are so close. Ruthie and I, we hit it off ever since the chem read, the testing. And, literally I went in and we exchanged numbers like immediately. We were like, I love you. Like, you're the best. Hopefully you get it. Hopefully you get it. And yeah, ever since then we've just been chilling. We have an incredible on-set and off-set chemistry, and I'm so glad to be doing this with her and the rest of the cast too.
Yeah, it's really great when that happens, especially when it's so obvious on screen that you guys are actually friends, and actually it really works for the show, It just makes it good.
It adds to it.
Yeah, it's just great to see that.
Did you have any friends before, the show that you were like, wow, this is sort of, did the friendship on Sydney to the Max remind you of any, like, maybe, like, friendships you had in the past that, that you could, like, sort of think about and be like, oh, yeah, this is kind of like my friend,
Yeah, you mean like my chemistry with the cast or like in the show, like scenarios in the show?
Yeah, like with the cast, like, or specifically like with Sydney, because I guess that's who you interact with mostly. So
Yeah,
is there like
sure. Yeah, I've had many moments with Ruthie where I'm like, oh my gosh, this literally reminds me exactly when I was with Sienna at school at lunch, and she said the same. Like, things like that happen all the time because we spend so much time together that it's like we've already talked about everything and said literally everything. So yeah.
So I'm sure this show isn't written by two 13-year-old girls. So do you ever see things in like the script where it's like oh wow, no, I don't think people would do this. Like, do you ever
Yes,
see anything like that?
Hardly ever, but I have seen it before. Like, I definitely had some lines where I was like, me, like myself, I would never like say that, but maybe Olive would. That's really the only time that's ever happened. But yeah, not really ever.
So there's never like any like okay boomer moments with the writers, and you're talking to them, and you're just like, nobody uses Facebook anymore, or like something like that.
They are up to speed on everything. There are no boomers on our writing team. They're incredible. They like kill every script, and they're always like up to speed with everything.
Is that the submission process? It was like, okay, let's see, age, okay, out of boomer range, good. I'm sure that.
Right, yeah. The only time ever is with them.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, keep going.
No, the only time is like Caroline Ray, who plays the grandma and the mom. She has to say a lot of like, not slang, but like a lot of current things like Insta or like what's the dubs or what's the dealio, things like that. And she'll ask us for her opinion. She'll be like, how am I supposed to say this again and what does it mean? Like she was like, what's BTW? Just things like that.
So she's learning how to be a 13-year-old girl.
She's learning the modern lingo.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
It's great she's so comfortable asking you guys those questions about like how to say those instead of just kind of being like, oh, I know it. It shows the cast is really kind of tight-knit there.
Oh, definitely. We're all super close.
Yeah, that's good.
I was wondering, you said something before, it was like you had, because you were on a Disney Channel show that you were able to sort of audition for it. Is the Disney Channel, because it seems like it's that kind of way for like a lot of people who are like on Disney shows. Is that kind of like the way it is, where it's like once you join one, you're kind of in this family where you can kind of like audition for other ones, or is that just kind of like something like that just seems that way? I'm wondering.
Mm-hmm. Well, the way it really is when you get a role, the casting directors remember you and they remember your skill set. So they remember what you're good at, what characters you play good, what attitudes you're good at. So when there's a role, they'll be like, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah would be perfect for this role, so let's bring her in. So things like that, that's like the advantage you really get from being on a previous show with them, is that they really remember you.
All right, so you would say like your previous experience of them on Girl Meets World, for example, like it helped you get this role. Would you say that? Or at least the audition for
it? Yes, I would definitely say that. For sure, it prepared me for it in many ways, and the casting directors, they remembered me, and that's really why I got this, because they brought me in for the audition, and they have given me so many opportunities, and I'm so grateful for them. Their names are Barbie Block and Sally Steiner. They're literally incredible.
Before you got Girl Meets World, how did you even sort of get into sort of the Disney family, I guess it is?
Well, the way I was 6 years old when I got Girl Meets World, but basically everything, you would just go on auditions, right? So with the manager, they send you on a bunch of auditions. So I got an audition for the Disney show, right, for Girl Meets World, and it was just like really not any other audition. I mean, it's Disney. Like, I was freaking out. Little 6-year-old me was like, ah! But I got sent on the audition, and then I was literally there that one day for like 8 hours, and they just kept having me go in and out for other roles. Like, just like, nah, let's try young Maya. Now let's try young Misty. And then, how about let's do Emma. How about Emma? And then they were like, no, none of these are working. And then they gave me a piece of paper, and they're like, why don't you read this? So, yeah, but it was really amazing. That's kind of how I got into this whole thing.
what did they do you know what they were kind of like looking for when you were in that sort of 8 hour session? Because it's kind of like, is it like sort of a look? Is it like a tone of voice? Is it like kind of like, you can act a certain way, you're like crazier than someone else, like sort of, do you know what kind of they look for when they're doing these like kind of 8 hour sessions?
Yeah, for sure. They always have a vision for the roles they want. So I went in and they were like, nah, not the right role. So then at the end of the day, they ended up creating a character for me, which was unbelievable. Yes, they were like, here, why don't you read this? And then the next day they were like, okay, we created a character for you. Like, will you come in? So apparently for me, they didn't really have anything specific in mind. But yeah, usually they always have kind of a vision of what they're looking for.
All right. So obviously you got on Girl Meets World when you were quite young at the age of 6. How would you say your sort of interest in the career path of acting began? Would you say like it began with that? Because I know you were in some stuff before that. Like, what was really your first like peak of interest in this career path?
Honestly, I don't remember because I wanted to be an actress ever since I was 2 years old. I literally have videos of me saying when I grow up I want to be a movie star. So I don't even know when that thought like came into my head like I want to be an actress, but it just happened and I started acting when I was 4 and I don't know where it came from actually. I would like to know.
Maybe we could what happens is after the podcast, we're going to bring in some psychologists and we're going to
definitely
go in there and
we have the budget to do this, yeah.
We have the budget to really go into the mind and figure out why you wanted to become an actress. So 2 years old, and you grew up in California?
Yep.
I'm guessing that's
Los
very
Angeles.
like I think we all hear like LA, it's easy to get discovered. It's kind of like it's sort of a stereotype. Was it kind of easy? Do you? I mean, I guess you're 2. I don't know how much awareness you have at 2 years old about sort of what's going on around you, but is it kind of I'm guessing it isn't as easy as people think it is who are not from the LA area.
Yeah, no, acting is definitely not easy at all. They see many kids for every single role, and the fact that I was able to get Singing to the Max, I believe they saw like 2,000 girls or something, so 1,500. So it's like a lot. The competition is like super high. So it is. I would definitely not say it's easy in any way.
And what was I going to say? It happens all the time. It's like I have something in my head and then it goes away.
I know. I hate when that happens.
It really is the worst.
It's coming back to me. It is. It's. I see it. It's right there.
Have you got your question, Andrew?
I do have.
You figured it out?
I do have the question. So I mean, being 6 years old, I mean, did you have a lot of friends who sort of, you kind of saw? I'm guessing I'm guessing being an actress at 6 years old, and I'm guessing, did you have friends who like were not actresses, and you got to sort of see what their life was like in comparison to yours? Because I'm imagining it's a very, very different way of being brought up, and you learn probably a lot quicker about life than probably some of your friends. So did you get to see sort of what other people were like, who were not actresses, like were like growing up in sort of that area?
Yeah, totally. When I was 6 years old, I still was going to a public school, so I still had a taste of that life. Like I was still like going to school with my friends and like going on the playground and doing after school activities. So it wasn't like completely in the like actor's atmosphere. But yeah, it's always been really cool to like observe how different my life is from other people. And yeah, sometimes I wonder what it's like to just like be a normal kid and do normal things. But I'm just so grateful for this like path that I've trekked down. I don't know the words to use, but yeah, I'm very grateful and happy.
Trek is. I think that's a good word
Yeah.
to use.
I
Trek
think
is
so.
good. Trek. It's the English language.
It suits the
Sure.
situation.
Yeah, that's the good part. I'm speaking in the right language.
Speaking the right language is always
Important.
a good thing. So so let's talk about some of these other roles that you've been on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah, it was your birthday recently.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, happy late birthday.
Thank you. Yeah,
13 years old,
I
right?
have been, yes, 13, the big 130 teenager.
Yeah.
I was about to say, speaking of like the movies and other things that I've done, I'll just give you like a little brief, little spiel, I guess, about some of the things that I've done. My first role was actually American Horror Story. I did like a quick little spot on there, and then I did a horror movie called Insidious: The Last Key. That was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. It really pushed me as an actor, but it was such a great experience that I wouldn't trade it in for anything.
What exactly about that film was challenging for you? Was it like just the fact that it's a horror movie and being scared? Like, can you go a bit more into detail about that, please?
Yes, well, my role in Insidious, I was a daughter of a dad, no duh, who really abused me really aggressively. So there were a lot of heavy emotional scenes, and that really pushed me when he would, like, I'd have to go up against the wall, and then he would whip me with his chain. So things like that, where it was really tough for me, and then there was a lot of crying, and then he was, like, dragging me to the basement, and then I was locked up in the basement. The scary stuff wasn't really that bad because it was all fake, but the crying was really intense. It was really tough.
Yeah, I can see why that would be a challenging role, especially it sounds very heavy, and especially you're still kind of young, so like for someone your age as well, you know.
Yeah, for sure. It was very difficult.
I mean, how does it feel? Because I mean, you part of being an actress is like, I'm guessing you learn about sort of more mature subjects before a lot of kids your age. So I mean, I can understand how that could be very challenging and very different. Is that
but sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, my parents are very, very careful with my little sister and I. They're always making sure that, like, sometimes I'd have to say a cuss word in an audition, which is very odd for me because that is not, like, very comfortable for me to say. But we know that sometimes you got to do it because acting's kind of like a job. It's definitely work, so sometimes we call it work. But sometimes I have to do it for work, but that doesn't mean that I'm allowed to say it after work. So we have conversations like that sometimes. But yeah, the things I learned, I'm honestly used to it by now. I've been in this industry for a long time. So it's kind of just like I learn at the pace that I'm taught, I guess.
Do your parents have to I'll take the Insidious thing for example. Did your parents have to sit you down and explain okay, yeah, this is something that, some parents do?
Yeah, I mean, not really for Insidious because I was already 10 when I shot that, so I kind of already was I know this is fake, whatever, because I remember he had to carry me down the stairs, and I was like, Daddy, no, please. And then the stunt guy was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, how are you? So I knew it was all fake, so there was never really a problem with that, I guess. So yeah, no, not really. I mean, there's definitely been conversations, but mostly when I was younger. Now I kind of already understand a lot of the roles that I've had to do.
Yeah, I love stories like that where it's It's like the kids are acting so good that adult people are so like, oh my god, are you okay? And then they're like, yeah, I'm fine. I think there was just a story I heard on this movie Doctor Sleep where
with Jacob Tremblay.
With Jacob Tremblay, and he was like screaming, and he was like, screaming, he was horrified, and I think they cut, and then all the adults were like, are you okay? Are you okay? And then he just got up and just walked to craft services like it was nothing, and they were all kind of like shocked.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's how it is.
So did that happen a lot?
Yeah, I mean, somewhat with that movie for sure, because almost every scene I was in, I was just crying and screaming. Mm-hmm. But other than that, there hasn't really been much worse than one of those scenarios, except for Scary Movie 5 somehow, and then Message from the King, and then Miss Meadows is another one. But usually, not really. Because, well, I'm also on Disney Channel right now, so there's not a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you said with working on Disney, obviously it's definitely not the same experience you had working with Insidious: The Last Key. However,
yeah, that is definitely.
Yeah, if it was that'd be strange.
You don't really see a lot of like horrifying screaming on Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. But City of the Mex Season 2 comes out Friday, December 13th. Are you excited for that?
Woohoo! I am so excited. It's such a beautiful, heartwarming episode. This is really an episode I'm very excited that's coming out. It's a Christmas episode, so of course it's super
Yeah, that should be fun.
And I don't know how much I can say, but I mean, I guess it's coming out like next week, so.
This is going to be coming out on Friday.
Yeah, this will be coming out the same day of the episode.
We don't want to spoil it for the audience.
Yeah, so let's.
Yeah, so it's going to be really good.
Yeah,
it's going to be. Right. It's going to be. I believe it. Is there going to be any? One thing I realized about the show when I was watching it was sort of how like surprisingly kind of like emotional it could get. Because I guess it's because with the whole thing with the single, because he's a single father and the mother is not in the picture. And
there's a large emotional range on the show that is not always shown, but in the upcoming few episodes and upcoming season, you're definitely going to see a lot more of that. And even in the new episode, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one episode I want to mention because it was sort of it kind of got me a little bit. It was this one it was about the shaving of the legs episode.
Oh yeah.
And that was I have to say that was a really beautiful episode because it was it sort of took this small thing and sort of made it about sort of like how she doesn't have a mother, and I think that's just it was a great example of like how deep this show could get,
Yeah, it's really.
Because I was reading because when I was on IMDb, I read a review of the episode, and it made a 38-year-old grown man cry.
Wow.
Oh,
I haven't seen that review, but that is.
Episode 5 had me, a 38-year-old man, in tears. So,
yeah,
you guys...
There's some definitely very, very touchy subjects in the upcoming season. So, if that made you cry, woohoo, I better get a tissue box for you.
It's good they're allowing the show to like kind of tackle stuff like that because, obviously for kids growing up, this is something they watch and they're kind of looking up to you and the other actors and actresses on the show, and it's good that you're showing them these topics that are just a bit more serious. Not everything's just like a silly joke.
Yeah,
nice.
For sure.
Not everything can be.
I love how
Zach and Cody goes.
Yeah, exactly.
I just remember because we're, we haven't seen Disney Channel in a while, so
this
we're
is
a little
one of
dated in our references.
Yeah, this is like the most recent show I've watched because I was like, let's watch some stuff to catch up on stuff so I can make sure I'm prepared for this.
Yeah. Because you were mentioning beforehand, like, Wizards, like, the last show I think we watched was...
Yeah,
like,
I was talking to Andrew before this about Wizards of Waverly Place, so I was like, oh, yeah, I wonder how everyone from that's doing.
Oh, that show was the bomb.
It really was.
Do you watch... What type of shows do you watch? Do you watch a lot of... Are you, like, contractually required to watch Disney Channel shows because you're a Disney Channel girl now, or...
No. Not at all. No, my favorite shows, I like to watch a lot of shows with my parents, like some mystery shows. Like, I love the show 911 and This Is Us, and I like Riverdale a lot, too. Yeah,
Good
so
shows.
I've always liked the mystery. And
I do love This Is Us. That is...
Oh, so good.
That gets me.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
Me, too. Ooh.
It's just thinking about it, honestly, I'm like... Man, it's just surprisingly for broadcast TV. It's just like you never know.
I know. It's so well done. So well done.
So you got there's a couple things that I saw on your Instagram that sort of made me question. And you met the Smiths.
Yeah, you met Will Smith, Jaden Smith. Yeah.
And Tom Holland.
I did. I know, it was crazy.
Tell us about that.
Such starstruck moment. I was at a premiere the night before my birthday, and I came really late, which is actually amazing because I saw everybody on the red carpet. So I met Will Smith. Will Smith, literally, props to him. He is one of the nicest people I've ever met, not only in this industry, but just in general.
Oh, that's great.
So kind. And he was walking down the carpet doing the interviews, and he stopped, gave me a hug. Not only did he, take a picture and say, all right, he was like, hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, you're looking so pretty. Awesome. Great talking to you. All right, bye. And then he did a video for me. Oh, my gosh. He was just amazing. And then it was so great to meet Tom Holland and Jaden Smith.
That's a great group of people to meet, honestly.
Is there anybody who's on your list of I gotta meet them? Like who's on that list for you?
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish,
a lot of artists. Shawn Mendes, and then Lady Gaga is my number one.
Oh,
a classic.
Lady Gaga. You gotta.
I wish I could meet her.
Well.
I know.
Ava, thank you so much for doing this podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been great.
We hope you had a fun
time. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
That is our goal, for the guests to have fun. So we're so glad you had fun.
Yeah, and just before you go, do you have anything you want to say to anyone who's also trying to make it into this business, who's around your age? Any advice you want to give them?
Yeah, sure. Just always believe in yourself. Never, ever, ever give up. You are enough. You are more than enough. You are beautiful inside out, no matter what anybody says. And don't listen to all the haters ever, because they will always try to put you down. And even when somebody's not there to put you back up, you need to bring yourself back up. So I love you all, and just never give up hope, because there is always more to be taken, I guess.
Oh, I hear that. That is some great inspirational
some advice
from Sydney to the Max star, Ava Kolker. Ava, thank you so much for doing this.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you for having me.